Terror in Gainesville as North Central Florida Pride Community Center attacked and vandalized. With less than a month from the return of in-person LGBTQ+ Pride after a gap of 2 years owing to the COVID-19 pandemic, the staff of the Pride Community Center of North Central Florida were alerted to vandalism at the center early Saturday morning. PCC NCF board member Debbie Lewis told Gainesville ABC News affiliate WCJB20 that she received a call from a real estate office in the same complex about their building being vandalized. After getting this alert, Lewis immediately reached out to the PCC NCF board vice chair, James Brown. Brown later talked to ABC 20 saying, quote, "Early today and in the pit of my stomach right now it's heartbreaking to see a building that we pour so much love and energy into being vandalized by people that were obviously targeting us because of the work we do here," end quote. During the initial investigation by Gainesville police, a message was discovered attached to a rock. That message is currently not being disclosed, although a police spokesperson said that Gainesville Police Department is investigating the incident as a hate crime. Gainesville is home to the University of Florida and is a rare blue island in the red nature of North Florida and the Panhandle. PCC NCF Board President Tamara Perry Lunardo told local media outlets that the vandals will not detour their work in the community. So, you know, we're currently in a climate across the country where we're feeling the attack on our community, and it's coming in these what may seem off the radar, off the beaten path places. It's the small attacks, it's the large attacks. We seem to be attacked from all angles at the moment, and it's this kind of stuff under someone like DeSantis, okay, who is the governor here, vote in November, but Governor DeSantis, who is creating an unsafe environment for the LGBTQ community. You know, radical right groups, again, speaking out against LGBTQ, and we're seeing this kind of thing happening all across the country. What I have to say, and you've heard me say this before, it's time for our community to get tough, okay? We are survivors. We have been fighters in the entire history of LGBTQ. Now is not the time for us to cower, but now is the time for us to be smart about how we, engage with these people, because rocks through and vandalization of our spaces, listen, that's just violence, right? But we need to vote. We need to take it into the courts. We need to take it to their pockets. We need to attack them where it's really going to hurt them and not just physical.
Amen. Run for political office again. I miss you. This is so sad. You know, after what happened here at Sunshine a couple months ago, my God, because that was right there. That's our home. You know, and it just reminds us of, just like you said, of just the amount of hate that's still out there, and it's targeting our community. You know, part of me doesn't want to know what's on that note that they're not telling us, you know, because it's just going to solidify how much we're hated. You know, but we also forget how South Florida is this small, right? We're like safe and fine down here, but DeSantis doesn't make it safe for us in the rest of the state.
It's funny though, because Josie's story reflects that. Gainesville's a bubble too. The University of Florida is there. Of everything north of Orlando, it's the one island in North Florida and the entire Panhandle that is a blue bubble. A little surprising because Gainesville is
liberal?
A place that is definitely
gay friendly.
Gay friendly. Voted for Biden. Alachua County was generally carried by blue. So this is a surprise. But the one thing that doesn't surprise us and shouldn't surprise us is you can't preach hate over and over and over again and not expect that people are going to hear the charge and the challenge. Absolutely. And they're going to do things. If the worst thing that happens this year is breaking out all of the windows at the Pride Center in Gainesville, we'll have a good year. I very much suspect this will not be the worst story that we tell or that Sunshine is defaced in signs. we're going to see worse and worse. And after the November 8th election, if what could happen here in Florida and over the next 2 years of who is the leadership in Florida moves toward the White House, this is a situation that is only going to get worse.
And if I can point out, South Florida has been known as a bubble, but that bubble is very, at this point, it's about to be popped. We're seeing the needle come closer and closer with decisions that are being made at the school board level, with the elected officials that are being elected into office. And as somebody that runs a community center, I can tell you that DeSantis has fueled the fires of hate, encouraged people to step up and get loud. And we have received increasing number of threatening voicemails calling us groomers, pedophiles.
We're at Pride Lines.
At Pride Lines, telling us to get out of town, that we're sickos. And that's always been part of the work, but now more so. There's FEMA grants that we're applying for safety. The reality is, this country right now, as much as I believe that there is a path forward and a light at the end of the tunnel, needs to your point, Josie, needs to get loud, step up, and act. And not in the way that we've done in the past where we are playing politics, but in the way that politics has evolved since Trump was in office, which is the loudest voice gets the votes.
Yeah, and Victor, before CJ moves on to talk about Biden at the UN, one last question. When this news happened really yesterday, and we report on it, I thought about you because I talked about Pride Center at Equality Park here in Wilton Manors, and then Pride Center or Pride Lines in Miami-Dade County as a community center. What's your reaction to what happened in Gainesville in terms of how you internalize it for Pride Lines in Miami?
As a professional that does this work, it's heartbreaking and equally concerning. And it makes me, or it reminds me that what we need to be doing now is making sure that these spaces that are safe and affirming that we've created for our community can be maintained. And unfortunately, that's now part of this conversation is, what does that mean in terms of physical safety, right? Not just for people coming into our center, but for people leaving our center on their way home. We've seen time and time again footage of the Proud Boys or organizations going after people in protest or going after people going to events and not just stopping once they're gone, but following them home, phone calling their parents. It's a difficult time. It's a different world. And so we have to be proactive at looking at how we continue to be safe and affirming space for our community in these times.
Yeah, far greater than a brick through a window.
Yeah,
far greater. LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.